have said I won't be doing any more tutorials, but oh well, people change, and I guess that's the case for me as well. And honestly, you guys, I thought about doing another body tutorial because that's what we're gonna be doing today. Because I saw my latest, meaning the body tutorial from 2 years ago, getting so much attention right now that I thought that, come on, I need to do an updated one because that one, I mean, it's still relevant, but you know, I just prefer to give it a little bit of an update, let's say. So that's exactly what we're here for today. And also today's tutorial is gonna be a little bit more special because it's gonna be focused more on body types. I'm gonna teach you how to draw 3 essential body types, starting from a small, lean, kind of skinny silhouette through medium-sized silhouette until the plus-size model. So, well, now that we have all of that out of the way, let's just jump straight into it, shall we? Alright, so we're gonna be starting off with the skinny silhouette, and here this is actually, in my opinion, the most tricky silhouette body type to draw because you want to make it visibly skinny, but you don't want to make it kind of too skinny, if that makes sense. So in my opinion, it's very hard to keep the balance between adding the volume to the body, making it look natural, and then still having it on the skinnier side. So yeah, let's try it out.
So we're going to be starting off with doing the base construction for our model. And if you don't know exactly how I do it and how to do it and how I divide the body into shapes, I highly recommend you checking my previous tutorials. They are really helpful when it comes to that. So I'm just doing the geometrical shapes for each section of the body, as it's going to be the base that we will be constructing our drawing around. As I want a slight bend of the silhouette in the waist area, this is something that I'm already sketching at this very moment. For the legs and arms, I'm just doing those sort of lines, more or less, just to indicate their placement. And now, still with the same Prismacolor pencil, I'm gonna be shaping the body, adding the volume to it. Here we want to be very careful not to add too much to the body, but still trying to keep it natural with all of its curves. We also don't want to add too little of the weight to the point that the body is going to be looking like it's collapsing almost. So as you can see, I'm outlining the construction that I did, giving it like a 0.5 centimeter of volume on each side of legs, arms, the stomach, if that makes sense. Now we're gonna be moving to outlining everything with the pencil once more, but this time with more precision and detail. I'm just following the lines that I already drew, however, I'm making sure that what I'm drawing now is way more clean and accurate. And here with doing the outline of the body, you want to be quite flowy. You don't want to make any straight lines, you just want to kind of let it go but still follow all of the natural shapes. Just please remember, make your lines curved and don't use any straight lines. And if you're struggling with how each section of the body looks like, I strongly advise using references for practice. And this is how our first drawing is already created. It wasn't as hard, was it?
Our next silhouette is going to be a medium-sized girl, and this is the silhouette that is probably, in my opinion, kind of easy to draw because you're just adding the natural volume to the body. You don't do too much, you don't do too little, so it's kind of, it feels natural. I mean, it feels the most natural to me because that's the body size that I have, so I'm kind of used to seeing this body all of the time, so that's why in most of my drawings you're gonna see this type of silhouette. So let's get into it.
Alright, so when it comes to this drawing, the pose is gonna be different from the previous one. So with my construction lines, I'm making all of the directions and guidelines for the silhouette that I'm gonna be drawing now. I'm being very careful with how the body is formed and trying to be mindful of all of the directions that each section is pointing towards, as it's gonna be easier later on to do my detail work on this sort of very well-built construction. Then with the same pencil, I'm gonna be gradually adding the volume to the body. With this model, we're going to be aiming for more volume than with the first one, obviously. So usually the body parts that are going to be affected with more weight are going to be just rounded and wider. You can see that pretty much on the stomach area, on the legs, and also on the arms, because these are the places that usually tend to have the volume. And also here, be mindful of the shoulders and arms, because a lot of people tend to forget about them. They only add weight to the legs area and the stomach, and they just leave the arms the same. And arms do also gain weight, so make sure you remember about that. And if you're drawing a medium silhouette, also add a little bit of that volume there. And with this pose, I struggled a bit with the leg situation, because we have this pose that is balanced only on one leg. So all of the weight of the body is actually focused on one leg while the other leg is resting. So it's really tricky to draw that. So that's why I took a couple of attempts to get it all right. And now, as our construction is done, I'm going in with the pencil again. And now notice, already at the very stage of the drawing, compared to our skinny model, I'm adding volume to her shoulders area, already making her looking a little bit more, heavier than the previous model. Then her stomach will obviously be a little more wide too. And here I know that everybody is different, and some people have more weight in their stomachs and some in their legs or arms. But here I'm just showing you the most neutral physique where the weight is distributed quite evenly, so please keep that in mind. I know that other body types exist, but this is the most, let's say, neutral one that I could come up with. So as you can tell, as I'm outlining the drawing, the volume is visible, but it's just right, a very medium neutral body size. And yeah, this is how we're pretty much done with the second model.
And the last body type, in my opinion, actually the easiest to draw, is the plus size body. Because here we're focusing on adding just volume to the silhouette. Once we have the construction done properly, it's very easy to just kind of, add the weight on top of it. So here you just need to be mindful of the curves and how the body is formed, but other than that, it's pretty easy to do. So let me show you how I do it.
Okay, so the plus body size we're approaching in the same manner as we did the previous drawings. So the construction first. And I'm drawing my guidelines with lines and shapes just to make it easy for myself to construct whole body around it later on. So we're doing the exact same thing like in the other two drawings. And as we're done with that, we're gonna be gradually adding the volume. And here we're going to be very round with it, let's say. Starting off with the shoulders and arm areas, here we're going to go in with the volume, right away. With plus size bodies, the most important part is not only to add the weight to the stomach and thighs, but also the shoulders, neck, calves, and like I said before, people tend to forget about those areas, and they are just as important as legs and stomach, So please make sure you don't forget about that. So now, as the outline is complete, it's time to refine the whole drawing. And now I'm gonna be making sure that I will go even rounder with my outline. You can already tell that by comparing the third silhouette to the previous ones, that we can see major differences that we were able to achieve just by adding more volume. And here I'm just gonna perfect her legs, and honestly, I could be adding even more volume, so it's all up to you, to your preference and the image you're going for. So the possibility of adding more exists, but I just wanted to kind of achieve this sort of look in this drawing. So this is how all of the three silhouettes look, and I bet that you can tell them apart pretty much, and you can tell a clear difference in weight between all of these three silhouettes.
Alright, and now the last step of our tutorial, since we got the basics done already. Now I'm gonna show you the full-on comparison between the skinnier body type and the plus size body type side by side, so you can really see what are the differences and how they kind of compare when it comes to drawing form. So let's do that.
So as simple as those three silhouettes were, now I'm gonna show you another example, and this time I'll show you the exact same pose but with two different outcomes. First the skinny model and then the plus sized one. just to show you the difference even more close up. Again, starting off with the construction for both of my drawings, focusing on the shapes, lines, and directions. You guys know how it goes. And then we're starting off with the leaner silhouette. I'm not adding too much volume to my constructions, I'm just slightly going around it, creating a quite lean body type. I'm keeping in mind that this body will have some curves to it, as it's natural for any body pretty much. And outlining it, I'm following pretty much the same sort of schedule, just tweaking some parts a little bit just to make it all more natural. For the plus body, I'm starting off pretty wide already at the shoulder area, adding a lot of volume to the arms and chest. We're gonna make this silhouette wide. Following that scheme at the belly and hips area, we want to add natural curves of the body along with that extra volume we're drawing. And at this point you can already tell the huge difference between these two and compare them side by side for a better understanding of how this drawing process works. And as a cherry on top and as this accent to finish off these sketches, you can just slap on some clothing on your bodies and just to cover up them a little bit and, you know, have some fun with it. And that's pretty much it.
Alright, and that is pretty much all for my today's updated body tutorial featuring different body types. I really hope that it was helpful for you guys, and along with my other tutorials on how to draw bodies step by step, how to draw poses, how to draw face, and all of that tutorials that I have, check my playlist if you haven't seen that already. I really hope that with all of that knowledge you're gonna be able to, you know, do your drawings very well and that it's really gonna help you out in improving. So yeah, that will be all from me today, and I really hope you enjoyed, and yeah, take care and I'll see you soon.
I'm just going with the gut, never had a doubt, felt like this is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now.